high school, I was not, I think a lot of the critics said, "Oh, this guy's getting back at all the people that picked on him in high school," and it wasn't really like that. I was very popular in my own way. I was actually the class writer in a weird way, in that I wrote stories. Most of all, I had my own column in the school newspaper called Troubled Waters. So it's kind of like I had that vague celebrity cachet of, the guy who comments on high school within high school, and they wouldn't beat me up.
You're gonna eat this?
Heathers was my first movie that I produced on my own. Before Heathers, I was working in development at New World Pictures. I had a kind of a little baby producing deal, and with the mandate to find, young filmmakers and make a cool, independent type movie.
As a director out of film school trying to find my first film, I was sent a lot of high school scripts, and most of them were just terrible. I mean, they were just bad. They were bad exploitation pictures. There were a lot of movies being made to service the growing videotape industry, home video industry, which was starting up.
I came to Los Angeles, complete babe in the woods, classic. Before I even knew it was a cliche, I got a job in a video store, and I just wrote this script that I wanted to write. I wanted to write kind of an epic, dark network meets Lawrence Arabia, but only as a backdrop something I knew, high school. So I just completely wrote this 250-page script, but it was out of complete naivete. I always say, if you can get one person other than yourself to like your script, then you're on your way. And so it's kind of just giving it to my kind of roommates at the time, who were all from USC, and they all happened to work. They all happened to have crew positions on Michael Lehman's student film, they classically named Beaver Gets a Boner.
There was a group of people I knew at USC Film School who lived in a house down near SC called Club Real that was an old frat house. And this guy, Larry Karaszewski, who's a screenwriter and a great filmmaker, was in my class at school, and he knew Dan from South Bend, Indiana.
And so kind of I had an in to the USC Mafia.
I read the script, and I'd heard about it from our friends. I'd heard they'd been writing on it for a couple of years, and I said, this is really great, and I gave it to my agent, and she flipped for it, completely flipped for it.
The wiser and older Michael Lehman, he called and started giving me notes over the phone, very specific notes, and I kept putting the phone on my chest and turning the imaginary camera. Who's this guy?
I remember when I read it, and I was young and not that experienced, but I knew that it would be pretty difficult to get financing to make a 3-hour high school comedy. And once the major studios passed, I said, well, I've got this relationship with New World and with Denise DeNovi, who was my producer there, and I said, why don't we see if they're willing to make it? The funny thing about high school is that those character types do endure. They are the same. It's really amazing. In fact, when I would talk to my kids when they were in high school, they'd talk about their friends, and it was pretty much the same kind of social groupings were still going on.
I think there are two kinds of people who loved high school and people who were miserable in high school. I think there's probably more people who were miserable in high school, and Heather speaks to all those people. It's there's this whole mythology that it's supposed to be the best years of your life, and it's really agony. Everybody who accomplishes something meaningful in life struggled in high school.
The script was much harsher than your typical John Hughes comedy. It was, in my opinion, more real. It was more surreal in many ways, and it had more kind of dirty truth to it.
It was, taken as seriously as network television was in network.
We liked John Hughes movies fine. I thought they were really entertaining, and John Hughes had a way of presenting high school kids in a way that made everything seem all sort of great and fun and wonderful underneath it all, and Dan's vision was much darker.
Great pate, but I'm going to have to motor if I want to be ready for that funeral.